Hey guys, Basil and Will with Grayson Hobby, and we have a special guest.
My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti.
So he's here today to help us review a new quad we have from BetaFPV.
All right, the quad we have here is the Beta 95X Whoop V2. This is the HD version that we are reviewing today.
So this particular version is HD, but it's also digital. So we have to use our digital
This thing.
FPV goggle. And we're gonna let Aaron fly it outside, rip it up, and give us his feedback. What do you think?
It'll be the second time flying HD, so I'm excited.
Guys, this quad was given us free by BetaFPV to do this review, and we are not gonna be, we're gonna be honest with you. We're gonna go over what we had troubles with in the beginning, with the DJI firmware, with the PIDs. Pretty much, it was a disaster for the first 15-20 minutes when we got this, but we got it to fly, and we flew. How did it fly?
It flies pretty good. It needed a little bit of PID tuning, but most bind-and flies do, so kind of to be expected.
Right, so this is not going to be the rosy, polished video you're used to by most people. It's going to be what
Keeping it crude.
Average user is going to get when they open this box, and if you're kind of new to the hobby, this may not be the one for you. What's going on? Get it ready?
DJI woes. Updating firmware because everything has to be updated. Everything has to be linked to DJI's little ecosystem. And you see how much excitement I have in my voice right now. Yes, so instead of being able to just run it, we had to connect it to the DJI system.
I heard a bonk.
It went from 74%, dropped back to 20%. Now it's at 59%.
So you mean you just can't use it out of the box?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh. What you eating for dinner, Will?
Well, we're gonna try a BetaFPV quad to rig something, basically.
Auto temp control off.
Okay, that was still okay.
What did you do?
All right, what he said.
Did it disarm itself?
No,
It's on. You're facing us. Here you go.
Oh, I know what it is. There's a huge dead spot in the bottom of the throttle in the the receiver tab. I think the
Oh yeah.
the throttle. I'm not gonna change it though. I'm just gonna fly it. So, all right. Now it's a little bit better. Once the nose is down, it's a little better.
Is there a lot of tilt with the camera, maybe? Or does it just feel awkward?
Yeah, it just feels a little different than what than my CineWhoops. Not bad though. Oh wow.
Perhaps because it's physically upside down.
Could be. You know, the pusher, having the ducts and the pusher set up. I've heard you want to run props in actually. I've heard that props in is the.
That's actually something that said in the manual that they ran their props out for stability. That's actually specifically listed in their manual that they did that for that reason.
Interesting.
So they are saying with props in, you are going to get dropouts in hard turns, like it'll lose power.
Yeah, that's why.
That's what they used to do back in the day, anyway.
Yeah.
But so they're running the props out for that.
This is also. A lot. So I've gotten used to that CineWhoop a little bit with the Insta360 Go on it, and this is a lot heavier than that.
We didn't weigh this yet, so I don't know what it weighs.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to not carry momentum, but it is carrying momentum. Nothing like a full-blown, 500, 600 gram CineWhoop, but that's a good little test of a CineWhoop. When you do a dive with a CineWhoop, and it doesn't get super angry halfway down the dive, basically when it's generated a bunch of downward momentum, it takes a half-decent CineWhoop to do that, so that's a good thing. This is handling dives really well. It does carry some momentum. It has some power though, like I threw it up over that tree, and it really handled it well. Let's do it again. So it's a small tree, but...
So, given all the frustration in the beginning, how's the video experience?
Video is amazing. To be honest, I didn't even think about it until you just said it, which
Do you feel like you weren't flying in goggles? You felt like you were just watching a movie?
No. I think I'm having to concentrate so hard on these rates that I'm just not necessarily paying attention, but I mean, look at it, right? Like, viewers at home that are watching this, I'm seeing the same thing in my goggles, and that's crazy.
And that's pretty, that's the biggest thing we get when people see the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
They complain about the static, and that's
DVR and all that, yeah.
DVR, that's just analog.
I think that's the battery. Is there a, oh, there's the battery down in the bottom right.
So where can you fly this quad? Inside, outside? Is it made for inside?
So what was the all-up weight that we got? 190 something?
190
and change.
A little hefty.
190 plus grams all up is going to be tough to fly inside.
But that's also with the 360 cam.
That is with the Insta360 Go. That is a 18 gram weight penalty, and then the TPU another couple
like
grams.
20 grams right
So
there.
an extra 20, 25 grams.
So about 170-ish maybe then? 179?
Yeah. I think it's a little heavy to be flying in smaller indoor spaces. For like a bigger indoor space, a bigger house, a bigger, like maybe an auditorium or something like that, it's going to be totally fine. But 200 grams is a lot of weight to change directions, and that's really what you're going to feel with this inside. Is that it's just a touch heavy, a lot lighter than most CineWhoops, but still not. I would love for it to be a little bit lighter.
For inside flying.
Inside flying.
But again, inside flying, if you're flying in warehouse small areas, that's where the Meteor 65s and 75 come into play.
But they're not HD.
So they're not.
But
But
that's the point.
I would like higher rates than apparently you like, but I run higher expo. So it's just, I mean, everyone has different.
Did you fly this?
I flew it here and I did a quick line of sight in angle mode.
Did you notice the weirdness on the sticks, or did it feel normal?
I didn't notice anything weird, but again, I had limited experience. I was between customers, and I ran out there and flew.
All right, let's try this one more time.
I just can't
No, I can
believe,
do it
like...
here.
But keep in mind, I haven't flown any CineWhoops at all.
Well,
I mean,
they
fly,
should
you just
fly
don't
normal.
fly them in CineWhoops.
Here, I think it has potential, but I'm trying to get that potential. Like usually, I can just snap my fingers and the tune is locked, and I'm struggling with this. And I promise it's not because
No, that's, I mean...
I promise I'm better than this.
That's the whole. That's the thing, because if we're struggling, I wouldn't say struggle. If we're having, we basically having to tune this and figure it out. And granted, every quad needs tuning, but this shouldn't require this much tuning.
And if you're gonna sell a bind,
Now, what I'm
should it
curious-
require tuning?
And the rates I get, the rates, you fine tune the rates.
That's better. It's that radio. There's something going on in that radio that's different than mine.
Jumper!
All right, Maiden.
Take 3, Maiden.
Take 3. All right, so
This is flying with your radio.
So this is now on my QX7, and for some reason, it's a lot better. I'm not gonna pretend I know why.
Because it's the radio you fly every day?
That is true. And the sticks are very short on that radio. And
Yes.
I've flown T16s before, and I didn't notice anything different about them.
You're also pinching.
I'm a thumber.
Yeah.
My radios are actually, okay, so my sticks are not vertical, they're actually inclined 10 degrees.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe that's
Because I fly with thumbs, I probably
Okay.
should have mentioned that.
okay.
But
So yeah,
that-
this is way more comfortable now.
That's why I'm not a good pilot, because that's my radio.
So now let's go behind the building again. So now that we can do it nice and smooth.
I heard some kind of
That's my
buzzing.
radio, yeah. So that's RSSI getting a little bit low.
Interesting how it works better on the jumper than it does the QX7.
Yeah, right?
That makes no sense, but...
Newer radio, maybe? Bigger? No.
Well, you know what? I wonder if we will tune that.
Over this little tree here. I wish you guys could see, but it would cost like $5 grand for you to be able to see. So now we can do a little bit, now that I'm a little bit more comfortable, we can do some actual like freestyle type stuff. Because this quad does have power. Some CineWhoops don't have a lot of horsepower, so you really can't do this kind of freestyle acros type stuff. And I almost just got stuck in the tree. I told you I was going to start flying harder now.
Well, that's good. That's good.
The tune has really come around though. We just added a little bit of P and D gain, and this tune is much better. It still does have a pretty serious rotation there on throttle pumps. You can get around that by just not jamming the throttle. Don't do big quick throttle pumps, and this thing's totally fine. Which you really shouldn't be doing with a CineWhoop anyway, right? You shouldn't really be jamming on the throttle. The problem becomes if if you have a situation where you have to hammer the throttle, you're going to lose that run. If you're on a really nice run, that's going to show up as a mistake if you need to jam the throttle. As I crash.
Missed the concrete by an inch.
So it does have turtle mode. Let's try it. Turtle mode is pushing me towards the concrete.
While he's over. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
When we were in the building, I heard his radio shake and said it was losing RSSI.
Turtle mode works. That's good news.
Jumper didn't do that. Did you tune frequency?
No, mine's on default. My RSSI is on default. I think it's like 45.
So that makes no sense.
Is my antenna facing up and down?
Yep.
So much for the easy things. So let's get up in this tree a little bit. Now that I can actually control this thing, let's do a little bit of actual CineWhoop work. What do you guys say?
Let's go for it.
It is very windy.
I gotta say, so far this is the easiest review I've ever done. I haven't had to do anything but charge batteries.
No, you had to get the DJI shit.
Oh, okay.
You had to get the DJI stuff.
I take it back. It was the most difficult setup I've ever done.
Low voltage.
On top.
13.1.
Get it back.
All right.
And another battery dead.
All right, pros and cons.
Pro, I'm gonna say pro, built out of the box, receiver already in it. It was mounted. Con, antenna wires, not crazy the way they run the antennas compared to other companies right now. This is a step in the wrong direction, in my opinion, on the antenna mounts.
Easy fix, luckily.
Yes, absolutely. It's a minor con on that one. No, it's the tape.
Oh.
Oh no, the antenna came off. No! No, I just complimented them on their tape job.
It's not like we faulted or anything.
What's a plus you thought of?
I love the frame. I love the 95 frame and the way that they do the brace plate here. You end up with something that's pretty strong. I think this could take some pretty serious punishment and handle it pretty well.
Con?
The PID tune out of the box was pretty rough, and even with adding a bunch of P&D gain, there is still some when you really jam on the throttle, it does yaw a little bit. So don't jam on the throttle. It's a CineWhoop, right? So it's a rig that you're going to fly very smoothly on the sticks.
All right, my pros is digital. I think digital is the future. I think that's the way everything's going. I know we're still in the infant stage of the technology and the hobby. Hopefully more players get in the market, but I think this is digital. This is where everything's going. The thing I didn't like about it is very loud. I would not be comfortable flying this in my neighborhood. It's not that ultra loud. It's just kind of way more noisy than I'm used to flying with my little AT-125 or anything like that. So
it's not a great sound either.
Yeah.
Regular non-ducted quads have a more.
It was like nagging in my ear the entire time. It was just. I had
got
to
that
walk away
vacuum
once.
cleaner sound.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a
It sounded like an older.
kind
It sounded like an older quad design. Like, as realistically, it sounded like an older micro quad.
Yeah.
It was just like, what's wrong with these props? Which doesn't make sense because these props are actually pretty good.
Yeah. It's just the way the ducks are made. That's really the nature of the beast. So there's a trade-off. You get the protection of the props. You get the thrust, but your trade-off is the lousy, annoying prop sound.
The quad looks-wise, they really focus on the design for a purpose, but it just does not look good out of the box, in my opinion.
All right, so Will is not a fan of the looks. How do you like the looks?
It looks like a tool, right?
Is that good or bad?
I don't know.
Like, are you insulting it, like calling it a tool, or are you saying it's a purpose-built product?
Yeah, I mean, it ain't gonna win any beauty competitions, that's for sure.
And personally, for me, if it's flying good, if it's doing its purpose, I don't care what it looks like. In the goggles is what I'm looking at, and I look at a dang good screen. Yeah,
and so this is only my second time flying HD, and it's pretty unbelievable. I forgot that. It just worked, and it's funny that I forgot that because it just kind of worked. Once we got over the initial setup and update, we plugged it in and it ran, and that's a big thumbs up for DJI.
Well, and the fact that it came with the GoPro kit and the 360 cam, that's nice because a lot of them don't include that. You have to pay $15 for a 3D printed part or something like that. So I like that. I'm going to give them a pro on that.
All right, so let's talk about the near disaster we had in the beginning getting this set up. So
the SD recording.
So what we wanted to do, we wanted to record the video on the SD card because that's the whole point of digital. Whatever you're seeing in the goggles is high def, and we're going to record that. A lot of the videos you see before past reviews of other quads are analog, and it's that crappy grainy TV kind of stuff. Step one of this whole process, we try to get DVR working, but nothing worked.
Yeah, I mean, I just did the traditional bind up the quad, set the rates, set the flight modes, bound the goggles to the camera system, and I was like, all right, we're good to go. No, I was horribly wrong on that one. About an hour and a half worth of wrong on that one.
So look, we had somebody on the bat phone that you were they call.
Yeah, friends with DJIs. Are
Yeah, we phoned a friend, you know.
good to have.
So
Deal or no deal.
We learned that you have to. What did we learn? I don't even know what we learned.
I don't either.
Learn that you have to update the firmware on pretty much everything DJI because of their little ecosystem.
Contrary to what most people believe, well, at least what I believed, you could just turn on the DVR and start recording. That's not the case with this one. We had to update the firmware in the Caddx unit to get this to record, which to me still doesn't make sense. So after all that, we got to work. You had the first flight.
Yeah, the PID loop was the PIDs were very soft out of the box. The fix to that was just being very soft on the sticks and just not pushing the PID loop too hard. And it flew fine. It had great power. If you were very, very, very smooth on the sticks, you could produce some cinema-ish footage.
In small places.
In small places, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the motor stayed nice and cool. The 4S 450s didn't give us amazing runtime, but we got a little over 2 minutes, right?
I think about 3 minutes, and you came down. And did they drop out of the sky, or did it?
Yeah, the DJI puts their voltage all the way down in the opposite corner that I'm used to, so I just flew it right into the ground until the batteries were like 1 volt per cell.
Every battery pack.
Yeah,
I owe these guys.
I think the highest was 2.5.
Yeah, aggressive. You poop kind of moderately.
Yeah, I was having so the first couple batteries, I was on a different radio than I'm used to, and I was really being as smooth as I possibly could.
He was on the jumper.
I was on a jumper T16.
Be transparent.
I usually use a QX7. That's what I've been flying for 3+ years. And yeah, as it turned out, we bounded up to the QX7 later on, and we realized it was just me not jiving with the T16.
Yeah.
Do you thumbs up, thumbs down? Or thumb up, thumb down? You can do.
For me, this would be a thumbs up because I'm going to spend time tuning the PIDs and the filters, and I'm going to really set this thing up to be, like I said earlier, a tool, right? I'm going to use this as a tool to get cinematic footage in close spaces where I'm able to bump into walls and stuff.
All right. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Will?
I'm a little impartial on this one. I'm going to lean more towards thumbs up. Again, it's ugly. I'm sorry. It's an ugly quad, but it is purpose built. Right. That's really my biggest complaint is the way it looks, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up for intermediate guys and a thumbs down for beginner guys. And the reason why I give it thumbs down because for the beginners, if you're a beginner, I don't know if a $300 quad is with all the issues we had is right for you at this point. It may be a good tool if you're looking for something other for a ready-to-fly system. BetaFPV does have some great systems out there, but this one may not be going for you. Now, if you've experienced with drones and FPV and stuff like that, this is probably a real good one.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely not a first quad.
Yeah.
So what do we got here?
This is the Beta 95X Whoop V2.
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 Oh, okay. Oh, and I opened it upside down. Hold on. Ugh, okay. I don't know. Everything's upside down. So what we got here is the quad itself, screws, and it looks like a little board for if you do the GoPro mod.
Naked GoPro?
That's the one.
All right.
We have a little manual. I guess there's a link to the manual, the knowledge base, so I'm sure their manual's online for those of you who actually do that stuff. And it's open. I want to see what's in here.
These are, yeah, look at that.
Bag full of goodies. This is the Naked GoPro thing, right? T63.
Do you ever use a Naked GoPro?
D63.
Not yet.
No, okay.
Not yet. Soon.
What props are those?
So these are the GemFan D63 props. It does come with an extra set, which is nice. It's always nice to have spare props. I don't know why some manufacturers do not include spare props.
If you're breaking props on this guy, you have other problems.
Things happen. Yeah, a little Allen wrench, a little 1.5 Allen wrench. I guess that's for the props. And a small Phillips head screwdriver, which would be to mount either your Insta360 cam or to, I guess, assemble your Naked GoPro.
Yeah. Now, you do use these, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. The Insta360 Go is kind of my new thing. Yep. I'm spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to move that thing around the air.
It comes with one to where if you want to strip it down so you use the regular
Wait, hold on.
GoPro.
It does not come with a Naked GoPro. It comes with the stuff to make the Naked GoPro.
The kit, yeah, the little kit. So normally you have to buy it separately to strip down a GoPro. It does not come with a GoPro, no. And the last thing it comes with is this USB-C 90-degree adapter. You need the USB-C 90-degree adapter to hook up your Caddx unit, like painfully so, so you can update the firmware so you can actually use it.
Okay, so the first thing I noticed, this is the right side up, but I want to fly it like that. That's what most people are going to want to do.
Yeah, this is actually it's a flipped quad, so this is the actual upside of the quad. If you try to put it this way, guess what? It's just gonna go go to the ground.
So most people are going to be used to a whoop or a drone that has the props on top. This has them on the bottom.
Yeah, just like the box was upside down for me, so is the quad.
Now, do you know why they put them upside down?
So they call it pusher, and the theory behind it is if you have on a CineWhoop style rig that's flying slow and you just want it to fly steady, if you put more of the weight up above the prop line, basically the motors can make more thrust than braking.
More power.
So if the weight is up higher, it's going to use the thrust to push that weight around, and the theory is that for a CineWhoop, that's going to fly a little bit better.
All right. I did not know half of that, but thank you.
It also kind of moves the ducts out of the way a little bit. The camera sits up here, and the way that these ducts kind of roll off, it stays out of the view of the HD cam.
Yeah, I thought mostly just for the camera and really to protect all the props and stuff like that, and to protect the electronics.
Now, as far as
out of there too.
Yeah.
Spec wise, what do we got on this thing? What kind of motors do we have? We have a 1106 4500 kVs. This was the Cadix Nebula system.
That is
digital.
Yeah, it's digital. So this is running with the DJI HD goggles. It's got its own like pagoda style antenna for the DJI system.
This one is a plug and play, or this one is a bind and play?
This is a plug and play here, right here. But we actually, the review unit that we did was a bind and fly.
Which receiver?
This is a XM Plus that was installed in this one. So if you get one that's got the receiver installed, it's an XM Plus.
Okay.
Now this wire that's hanging out right here is actually for the little GoPro accessory. It's not for the receiver, so if you're not using the GoPro thing, you can just tuck it up down in there. As far as the receiver plug, I'm actually looking for... Okay, there you go, down there.
And I think that's a power plug, right?
Yeah,
Well, for the GoPro?
Yeah, this provides power for the GoPro as well, so you can get rid of the battery and all that. Yeah.
So it's even more nakeder GoPro.
Yeah.
And now I guess that's on here. That goes right there.
Gotcha. I don't even use naked GoPros. I like the Insta360.
It's an F4 flight controller. It's running BL Heli 32 4-in-1 ESC integrated in the all-in-one stack. It is a 16 amp rated speed controls. So you have essentially 4 integrated 16 amp speed controls in this. Again, it's the Cadix Nebula camera, and the props are D63 props. So these are the newer Gym Fan props.
And then what battery does it use? Recommended. What do we use?
They recommend a 450 milliamp 4-cell LiPo.
4-cell.